Oh, yeah. Let's go. Bounce in here, baby. Ounce, adding up the piece. Oh, wow, I don't aim to please. Pounce, wow, designer drip on me. Lego, I came down from selling drinks. Yeah, I just dropped a baddie for some better things. Call me daddy, baby, I'ma make her sing. But now I think about her friends and who they can bring. Hey, sliding the beat like I'm gliding up a pair of skis. That girl, she just like a parakeet. She just
Good afternoon, Wareham in Massachusetts, gateway to the Cape, and happy spring! We made it. It is beautiful. It's an awesome spring evening. The very first full day, March 21st, and in an ordinance of that, we have an awesome show tonight. He's actually a fill-in guest, Congruence, the artist, right here, and a lot of stuff went on today to get him here. He drove a long way in an early evening, but before we get to him, I'm going to read these awesome underwriters per usual. And then we will commence with him as usual, as we always do with great guests on Topic Time. So, we have Fiesta Chara Family Mexican Restaurant in Carver. We have Ape Solutions in East Bridgewater. We have Pals Driving School in Middleborough, teaching people to drive in Middleborough and vicinity. We have Crazy Axe's Rec Center in Hanover. We get MP Sports Cards in Carver. We get good old Dave's Automotive in Hanson, right on Route 58. We got New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We got Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We got South Shore Trains and more in Pembroke. We got Pacini's Pizza in Middleborough, they deliver. We got Maggie's Cuts in Kingston. We got Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough. We got Tom Auto in Middleborough. We got the Gun Runner LLC in Middleborough, dedicated to your Second Amendment rights for customers and friends. We got Studio 53 Salon Day Spa in Pembroke, 20% off first time appointments. We got Ocean Street Auto Repair and Service in Marshfield. And we got DNS Auto Works in Abington, and also on Route 58. I want to thank you guys very much, and now officially, I will introduce Congruence, the artist here. He's gonna perform some of his original stuff. He's back, he said. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna profile him. Congruence, thank you for coming down here all the way from Worcester to do my show.
Worcester, Mass. Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you for having me, of course.
And I know you reached out to me to do the show a while, not too long ago. I'd say maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. Tan Man, the man with the plan.
Tan Man did a great job.
The man with the plan. He put me on there for an interview, so he hit me up. He said, "You want an interview?" I said, "Yeah, I'll take an interview for sure."
Did you see my interview with Tan Man that we did at Area 58?
Nah, I haven't seen that, but knowing he's a character, I gotta check that out for sure.
Oh, he came out great, and we're gonna make, and you're a character too, I can tell. All right, Congruence. Let's talk about what you were like. Tell me about your history. Where did you grow up? How did you get to what you're doing now?
So I grew up right next to Worcester, Mass.
Okay.
And basically, in high school, we started off. Everyone's listening to a little bit of everything. We listened to not just hip hop, not just rap. We were into a lot of stuff that people will know. Metalcore. I was even into metal, but metalcore.
Okay.
Pop punk, stuff like that. A lot of stuff that they're having this festival when we were a young festival out in Vegas.
Okay.
Tons of those early 2000s alternative rock bands. A lot of people and me and my collective and people stuff like that. We're all into that kind of stuff. So growing up, I had a lot of different background, and it's funny because I asked my dad. I was like, "Did you ever play hip hop or anything around the house when I was growing up?" He said, "No, I like Snoop Dogg, but I never really played any of it." So I'm like, I remember the first CD that I ever got into with hip hop and stuff was Speaker Box / the Love Below by Outkast, which is a double album, which widely is considered to be not one of their good albums, but I liked it at the time. It had some hits on it and some decent tracks in there, but looking back, they had AT Aliens, so it was not one of their best albums, but that's kind of where it started. And then Kanye West with The College Dropout was a huge inspiration growing up. I was watching his music videos on MTV and all that, and then
he's just been banned from Twitter, I think.
Yeah, well, no,
Funny you should mention
about
him.
time.
Okay.
Nah, I love Kanye, but I really wish he would just
Chill with Kim?
I wish he would use.
Just chill in general.
I wish he would use the resources that are available with the amount of money he has to get the proper mental help that he needs. Because mental health to me is very serious. I have mental health issues myself.
Same here.
I mean, it's a serious issue. So for me, there's something I want to touch on briefly because I don't want to give this guy too much credit.
Okay.
But Kanye had a public breakdown on Instagram, and he was posting some stuff, and he's posting all this stuff, and the same guy keeps commenting at the top, and I'm like, who is this guy? And everyone started to notice, who is this guy? Who is this guy? I'm not even gonna say his name.
Okay.
His name doesn't belong in my mouth. He hasn't earned his way there. So that guy bought his way into the music industry by paying for likes till he get to the top. Every time he'd get to the top. So basically, eventually people are like, who is this guy? What's he doing? Like, check out his page. His music's terrible. And basically, he got onto No Jumper, the big podcast on YouTube that's like gets millions of subscribers, and like he got on it just by buying all those likes and getting to the top and being quick and commenting like that. He probably used the bots all the way to get there.
Okay.
So I created a little bit of something I call myself the anti-Zach for a little bit. It was just a little strategy I had to kind of go back at him and people who I call clout chasers, who are basically looking to just be in the spotlight for no reason. They don't have talent. They're just looking to be like, hey, I want to be part of the cool kids club. And that's who that guy was.
Okay.
And the fact that he was using mental health and issues like that to take that as an opportunity, I kind of took that personal, so I made a page, and I called myself the anti-Zach, and I made 2 diss tracks. I challenged him to a boxing match for charity, and he sent his friend after me, and his friend told me if I drove all the way down to him 4 hours away, that he would box for charity, and I said put $5,000 for it for mental health awareness, and haven't heard back from him. So that's just how they move. I don't know. I was doing it for the awareness, but yeah, that's one story I just wanted to touch on real quick. So I'm still involved in that. I sold merchandise that said Zach is whack.
Okay.
And
that
this
includes
guy,
what you're wearing now?
No, this is actually.
You said you had a clothing line you wanted to talk about
I can
too.
stand up real quick.
Okay. Just be careful you don't lose the mic.
So this is like an early prototype. This is actually the first one ever made. Shout out 28 Nation Apparel for putting this together with me. This is called Stay Silent, Stay Scheming. So on the sleeves, you got Stay Scheming on one side, and you got the Stay. I'm not even gonna take it off. I'm too lazy. But you got the Stay Silent, Stay Scheming. So that's my brand. I haven't picked this out yet, but exclusive here for you.
Cool.
It's
I love
coming out, coming soon, and this is like I said, this is what I call the oversized logo.
Okay.
The rest of the products are going to be a lot different. You're going to see this is the logo, but it's kind of brought in, and like I'm very minimalist with my stuff. So I believe. So what's the date? March
21st.
What is it?
21st.
21st.
Yes, sir.
So in about a month, I'll be doing a pop-up, and that'll be my debut of my clothing line as well.
That's perfect. So you're announcing it now, and by that time, the whole world will know. That's great.
I just need to find a couple models to do the announcement post on Instagram, and then.
Yeah, if they're hot, send them my way.
Well, if they're not.
And female too,
Let me just say that the girls that I've reached out to were not professionals, but they were attractive.
That's all I need.
And they were acting like they were professionals. So they were trying to make all these crazy offers. So I decided I'm never working with anyone who's not a professional. Again, that was on me. That was my mistake.
Okay.
So basically, from now on, I'm only working with people who are if I'm going to pay someone, I'm going to pay someone who knows what they're doing, not someone who's asking for money just because they look pretty. That's not how modeling works.
That's true. I know. I interview a lot of models in my show.
There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm not paying someone. I don't care how attractive they are. I'm not paying $50 for that. Like I'm not paying $100. Like it's just how it is.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't wait to see that. In the meantime, so what are you currently working on that you can talk about?
Well, so by the time this is out, I guess I can say what's going on. So I basically have released 3 full-length albums.
Okay.
Those are all recorded in Somerville, Massachusetts, at Phoenix Down Recording.
Cool.
Kind of learned a little bit every time, like I kind of didn't really do. I kind of was on a budget for the first one. I just wanted to see what it would be like if I could record at a studio, because my friend and I have recorded back since high school, like going back to that.
Okay.
In high school, where we started listening to a lot of '90s hip hop, Wu-Tang Clan, a lot of Wu-Tang, Big L, a lot of people like that.
This friend of yours, do you guys collaborate on projects musically?
Funny that you asked, because he was the one who really pushed me to get into hip hop.
Okay.
Because he made some random stuff. He made beats.
You want to name him, talk about him a little bit?
Yeah, shout out Tony, aka Tony Morladella, aka Tony Vincent, aka AM, whatever you want to call him. He, he's doing great. He's very successful in the field that he works in.
Okay.
So he took a break from music for a long time. We did release a project a while back that was like just a mixtape early on in our careers. I think that was technically my first public release, but we didn't promote it or anything. We just kind of threw it out there, and there it was,
Okay.
that type of deal. So basically, the funny thing that you asked about that is that I still hang out with him all the time, and he's part of my team. He's helped me with some videos. So
Okay.
he's one of those people. He's part of the crew. Like, he's in my inner circle.
Of course.
So recently, I don't know who brought it up, but one of us was like, "Yo, we used to be called Two Bastards." That was our name.
That was your credo?
That was our.
Oh,
that was our
your
duo. That was our
moniker.
duo.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
So we used to do that, and we were talking about this year. You're like, "Yo, because I'm on the come up. I'm doing a lot of stuff. My Spotify stream's going up. I'm getting all these opportunities. Now's a good time for you to come back and maybe we can make a little music." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm totally open to the idea." Long story short, we got something on the way, a little bit something on the way. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but he sent me some vocals for a track that I had. So
okay, you guys live near each other? I assume you do, right?
Yeah,
you see each other regularly.
Well, we both came out of the same high school.
Yeah.
In Central Massachusetts, and then he ended up moving out to Austin. I'm still back in Central Mass area,
Yes.
but.
Okay.
Yeah, we're close. We see each other every weekend mostly.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe there's a nice recording studio in Austin, isn't there? Does he use one? Do you know what I mean? Is there one like that in Austin?
The nicest one I know of is the Somerville one, Phoenix Down recording.
Okay.
So Somerville is
That's in Somerville, right?
That's probably 20 minutes away. There might be a new studio, or there might be a studio in Austin, just not one I'm aware of.
Okay. All right. Tell me about so you've been doing rap since the '90s, basically, right?
Well, I was influenced by rap from the '90s.
You were influenced by it, okay.
But I didn't really start freestyling, putting some instrumentals on and getting in the car, 4 people, 5 people, throwing on the beat, smoking up a little bit, and freestyling. And it's something that I compare to basketball all the time, because as you practice that shot, you're also practicing the confidence. It's like when you're confident you're going to hit that shot and you get the form, then you're hitting that shot.
Right.
So with freestyling, if you're confident and you keep practicing and practicing, you're going to be confident. As soon as you feel out a beat, especially for me, that's my process.
Okay.
I feel out a beat, if it's my vibe, I start to freestyle, it just gets deeper and deeper, and I just keep going. And there was a couple of us in the group that stood out amongst the others, and I'm the one who ended up just being the one who was lucky enough to stick with this as my career path, as opposed to, everything else that's
Right.
going on. Not saying that they're not doing things with their lives. They're doing great things with their lives. I'm just saying that music was something that we were all really into. And I still think that down the line, they'll be involved in the music in some way. It's just that right now, it's basically what I do. It's that's what I'm a musician, and I call myself an artist because I got the clothing line going and I have other ideas in my head and shit.
Okay. So where have you performed? I mean, do you have venues where you perform regularly?
Yeah. So I mean, with COVID and everything,
Right, I know it's been
that
tough.
really messed everything up. So I had a tour booked, East Coast tour booked in when did it start? 2020, right?
This year?
When did
Oh,
COVID?
COVID hit in 2020, yes.
Yeah, so around that time, March area, I had a 4 or 5 show tour booked, and that was gonna be my first full tour, a mini tour. Long story short, all that got canceled.
Right.
Obviously, so that was disappointing. I came before that. I played at a couple venues in Worcester. Electric Haze. To be honest,
How about the Palladium?
The Palladium, I got a story about that too.
Go ahead.
Well, first let me just
go ahead.
touch on the other ones.
Okay.
Electric Haze, I went there. I found it to be not the best experience in my opinion. People have varying experiences, but I don't like when people are fake nice and then they kind of like swindle you. And I felt like the guy was being fake nice to me and he swindled me and, you know, charged me a little bit more than I needed to be charged, or other people were getting preferential treatment, so I never played there again.
Okay.
But I did a couple shows there. I did a release show. It went nice. I had all my homies out there, so it was cool. But and I played another venue that was kind of just like picture like a dark basement with like a bunch of drunks in it. That's what it was. So
Okay.
that was the worst show I probably ever played. And I played some like home like outside shows that my friend and I set up in New York.
Okay.
We called it the Intergalactic Garden. That was cool because we had some paintings set up and we had a projector and everything. We put everything together ourselves. The biggest show that I've done, I haven't really like I said, I had a good tour booked and then COVID hit.
COVID hit.
So then recently I've been trying to get out there and I've been trying to get more connections and stuff.
Well, guess what? You found a big connection because we're halfway through the show, and now you're going to get your wish to perform on my show.
Okay.
So go for it. I'm going to sit back and relax and listen to Congruence, the artist, right here.
This freestyle.
Doing freestyle.
Freestyle. Now, I've insulted Drake so much in the past for reading off his phone, but it's because I just wrote it, and like my memory is not great.
Yeah, you got to read the words. That's cool.
Yeah. So I can't remember it. I'm not going to be able to.
That's all right.
Normally, I remember my stuff. If I had a little bit more notice, it would have been.
I know,
like
it was a spur of the moment, but you'll see it's well worth it.
So it's called I'm Back in all caps. Hey, I just wanted to say officially, Congruence is back. I'm back. I pat back, man. I'm back like that shit that when you bend it always hurts. I'm back, the difference is I have been realizing my worth. I'm back since seeing I'm the only one making it work. I'm back, I couldn't leave, it's just the way that I was born. I'm back because of the fact that I just had to misbehave. I'm back, I had my homies grab the shovel at my grave. I'm back because these rappers were not rapping at my pace. I'm back above my Arnold swag, mistakes left to erase. I'm back like Pee Wee Herman, still no public masturbate. I'm back sitting in the nosebleeds while you're watching players play. I'm back like I just OD'd, but they had that Narcan spray. I'm back like I wish my homie was like every single day. I'm back like, but not beginning. I'm back like Celtics winning. I'm back, I know I changed, it's time to stop all of the sinning. I'm back, the bottom line is I just never be the victim. I'm back, this time the rhymes will never ever need revisions. I'm back like a fiend when they dreaming of the crack. I'm back screaming at one time, say it with me, Zach is whack. Boom.
That's good. The lyrics are very good. They're
Appreciate it,
free
yeah.
flowing for sure.
Everything starts with I'm back because that's the main.
Oh,
Sorry.
all right, don't worry about that. As
Yeah.
long as the mic didn't come loose, we're fine.
Yeah, we good.
I mean, in a way, that dropping the mic, it almost gave it the right emphasis.
That was the
to
mic
end of
drop.
song.
That was the mic drop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. So I always say everything happens for a reason.
It does. I believe in that truly. Yeah, that's like one driving factor for me. So it's like I've had moments where I want to quit music and shit and want to, you know, like
Okay.
people tell me that, or people tell me, you know, be realistic and stuff, and it's like I don't listen to anyone's opinions when it comes down to it. I do a lot, but I have to give a shout out to my friend 28 and others to tell me, stop asking everyone else for opinions, listen to yourself. And I have to remember that when I was doing my best, I was listening to my heart, my intuition, and that shit guides me in the right direction. So it's like, at the end of the day, that's my advice is like, when you figure out how to tap into that inner energy and trust yourself, that's where it's going to lead you to where you need to be. Not when you're listening to 20 other people, because they could all have a different opinion and they're all coming from different life experiences. So what do they know about you?
Exactly. That's how I got to be where I'm at doing my thing too. Mm-hmm. So I totally get that. Okay, now did you have any formal music training at all growing up anywhere, or any informal music training?
So originally 2011 or something, around the time I was freestyling and teaching myself how to play acoustic guitar at the same time.
Yep.
So that was happening, and basically the most training I got was like I would look up, you know, guitar tabs online, and you know, I would see which chords were being played by some artists I liked. But mostly, I just found a tuning I liked on guitar, and then I taught myself exactly how to play the style I wanted, and then, you know, I have a project called Saint 44. I released my debut album, Blood on My Guitar.
Saint 44?
Yep.
Cool.
So I released that in December. So last year, technically, I released that. I released Fifth Dimension, which was Congruence album,
Okay.
number 3. I released a collaboration album with 2 multi-international collaboration albums. So it was my friend, one of my main men, Barf Keller, aka Barfy the Goat, aka What You Want. I don't know what to call him, but he's my beat maker. You know,
Cool.
he's the man I work with. He's the one I know. He can cook up a beat on the spot. He's in Argentina. He doesn't he just cooks them up. I say, I need this style. I need, like when I needed to do the diss track, I'm like, I need to do this diss track. I give him a few hours. He slides through with the beat. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's only 18 years old. Soon, people are gonna know that name. Same with Young Chevy. That's the other person on this project. He did vocals with me. We each had like one solo song, but the rest were collaborations.
Okay.
And he also did the mixing and the mastering of the album. So all of it, all 3 of it, is in house, and we recorded at home. So
Yep.
there's no studio, no big studio. But if you take a listen to it, it's called Barf Keller Presents Go, like G-O capital, like both of them are capital with an exclamation point.
Okay.
You'll listen to that, it sounds commercial quality. So it's just another shout out to the artists out there. Like, if you get the right equipment and the right engineers and people around you, you can make things happen on a budget that'll come close to that stuff. But what really slows you down is when you get to, marketing, because that's why I brought up the other guy. It's because he doesn't have any good music, but he's already on these big. His name's in the spotlight because he has big money for his marketing. So
Right.
we gotta grind hard, and we're gonna grind hard, and we're getting there. We're making the connects, and we're doing all that, and part of it's connects and luck and stuff like that. But a lot of it is putting money behind it and investing in yourself. And I feel like I did that, but not to the extent that I needed to until I waited and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put out an album that no one's ever heard anything like. It's some alien stuff. Like, I got the alien on my
hat, right?
I got the alien on my hat. I got the Eye of Horus on my chain. I'm just a very
out there person.
yeah. I'm a psychedelic influenced and inspired person, and at the end of the day, it's like I want to I'm already in my own lane. I have a few of my own influences. None of the 90s hip hop stuff really carried over too much, which is interesting. I kind of shifted towards more melodic beats, and that kind of just pushed me in that direction since like 2018, 2019, and then I would say I started to really get familiar with my sound around 2020, but the best is yet to come.
All right, tell me, just curious, where'd you get the title Saint 44?
Saint 44, okay.
That sounds like an interesting title, but
So Congruence, and like I almost see these like as certain characters. Like it's not. I'm not a character in the sense that some people literally like are performance artists. You know what I mean? Like, like people who come out and they're like their real life persona and their other personas are like completely opposite. Like whoever they are on a stage, that's them, and they go backstage and they're nothing like that.
okay.
That's not really me. It's more like when I'm in congruence mode, I'm in that mode. I'm in that grind. I talk like this. This is what I do. This is how I dress. Saint 44, I kind of dress similar. I don't really change too much, but I wouldn't be wearing chains. I'm not wearing the typical hip hop stuff. The name came from, all right, so the 44, let me explain that briefly first. So that's me. That's what I roll with, and like it's in my Instagram is Congruence 44. So long story short, one of my friends kept seeing that number everywhere in high school, and I I'll be honest with the story because they're gonna watch it. And
So it was an omen.
if I'm not honest about this, they're gonna call me out on it. I was like, oh, you guys are seeing 44. Oh, that's so cool. Blah blah blah. Like I was dismissing it.
Okay.
But then in college, I almost got into a car accident, and before this, me and this girl were noticing this number 44 everywhere.
Okay.
And it was like one of those Jesus takes the wheel type moments, and we barely avoided this car accident. And then
Wow.
right after that, she goes, "Look, 44." She sees it, and it's like the spiritual thing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it wasn't just that; it would constantly was smacking us in the face. Everything we saw, 44, 44, 44. It became almost like to the point where I was like, "This is a joke." But if you look into the angel numbers and stuff, and if anyone believes in that, it's like
I definitely believe in that.
It's some spiritual stuff. So it's like, it represents a spiritual presence and protection around you. And I had a friend, one of my main influences on who I am as a person, Mike. He passed away from an accidental overdose, unfortunately.
Sorry.
And, yeah, thank you. And he basically, he was the one who told me, get your music out there, put that music out there. And he luckily he was around still when I dropped my first song on SoundCloud.
Where did you go to college?
I went to college at, I met him actually too at Worcester State.
Okay, so you went to Worcester State.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well, guess what? We're down to the final 5 minutes. We made it go by.
Not bad.
Thank you. I hope we covered, things you wanted to cover. So what I want you to do, in the final 5 minutes, I tell every guest, just look at the camera, give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, because there's going to be a lot of them. And then we'll wrap the show up with my theme song the way I began it.
Okay.
So go for it.
And can we also film like the freestyle again? Yeah, because I need to do that right.
We can do it at the end if you want.
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right. So I got to give shout outs. I said that I was hoping that I wouldn't have to do this because I knew I'd forget someone, but I'm going to start from the beginning. Shout out AM, like I said, Tony Vincent, whatever you want to call him, Tony Mortadella. He also his wonderful fiance Jocelyn. He got me into music, and he's been there for me as a friend since day one. Same thing with Big Daddy Cliff. He's down in Florida. That's another person. Those two are basically the people I've stayed in touch with the most, and those are my two inner circle people in real life. When it comes to Instagram and stuff, well, first let me touch upon my family, of course. Shout out to my mom for everything she's made possible in my life. Shout out to my sister for being the grounded one and, keeping everyone stable and, really keeping everything calm where there's a lot of anxiety that runs in the family and a lot of hecticness, especially as I increase to this level where I'm starting to get crazy things happening to me. Shout out to my brother for helping me with music and creativity and showing me a different way of thinking early on in my life that shaped me. Shout out to my dad. He's not doing very well health-wise, but when he was healthy, he raised me well, and he taught me a lot of lessons, and we still have a good relationship. So shout out to all of them. Shout out to my grandma. She just turned 100.
Wow.
It's amazing. Yeah, she's from the Ukraine too. So shout out to the Ukraine.
Oh, yes.
Blessings for the Ukraine for sure. So shout out to all those people. Then we got to go to Instagram real quick. I got added to this group of a collective that unfortunately no longer exists, but shout out to Scrooge. The man basically saved my life at a moment where I was really low. Coming fresh out of a breakup, dealing with a whole lot of other stuff. He put me in a group with a group of people that were amazing. And a lot of those people in that group saved my life through conversations that I had where I really needed to vent and I couldn't vent to, there was people I couldn't really vent to, but I knew that I could only vent a little bit to each person because I didn't want to pile it all on them. So I got to give a shout out to Scrooge for putting me in that group and being there for me on that level. I got to give a shout out to Barf Keller, my producer, for making fire beats, but also being there for me and giving me wisdom beyond his years. I mean, he's 18 and he'll be telling me stuff that hits me, and I know he's right about it, and I have to listen to him because he's right, and I know it. Shout out to Young Chevy for being one of the purest souls on the planet. Shout out to Wanderlin Anna. She's one of the most sweetest people you ever meet, and she's extremely talented from Romania. And Young Gord helping me out with the artwork lately. V Beats with the building up the friendship, and of course Sage Bishop, one of my main homies right there. I I've probably forgotten some people.
That's all right. You don't need to name everybody.
Well, I'm trying, and I know whoever I didn't name is going to get pissed.
They'll understand. Okay.
No, they won't. Some people might not understand.
Well, listen, you named a lot of people, probably more than anyone I've ever had on the show in Shouts Out. So
I tried my best. I tried
know.
my best.
All right. Well, I hope you had fun.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right. If you have any guests, you have any people speaking to anybody that you gave shouts out to, or anybody you know that has an interesting story to tell, love to get them on the show. Rapper, female, male. Have them text me, hit me up. We'll get them on as guests, either here or one of my other great locations.
Okay.
You did a wonderful job, Congruence, and you ready to wrap the show up the way we began it with my stuff?
Appreciate that. Yes, sir.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching Topic Time. See you sometime in the future here in Wayham. Gonna love it. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.
HARRISON spells Harrison. Harrison.
Great job. You still got it.
Hey, there you go.